At long last, the day is here. That is right, the Collection Room Volume 5. Over 190 figures, 16 Detolfs, and over 60 LED light strips. I'm not going to waste your time anymore. Let's get going. As I said, this is a labor of love. Over 196 scale figures, and I cannot wait to share these with you. Make sure to start right now by giving me a presumptive like, and if you've not done so already, go ahead and subscribe to this channel because we're on a goal for 2,021 subscribers. We're almost there, so please let's share this video around, leave some comments, let's boost that engagement. But without further ado, let's get into the collection, Volume 5. And without further ado, here is the Collection Room Volume 5. Within this collection, we have over 190 6-scale figures, and we're going to try to dissect this in segments. That way it's not completely overwhelming. And although we usually started with Star Wars, we're going to start with Marvel, simply because I have a lot more of them than I ever thought I would. So we'll start with Marvel, go to Batman, Ghostbusters, Special Entertainment, and then we'll finish with Star Wars. So let's get in to the collection. And here we have the Marvel selection, and because there are so many figures, and I don't want this to be a 10-hour video, we're only going to focus on some of the main pieces of each shelf and within each cabinet. So we're going to start here with our Guardians of the Galaxy, and one of my favorite figures and one of the best head sculpts of all time is Yondu. Here we have the deluxe version of Star-Lord from Volume 2, in-game Rocket, which I think looks pretty good all together. Moving down here, we have the Daughters of Thanos, as well as Drax. Nebula looks awesome, and yes, if you remember, Gamora does hold the record for one of the longest awaited pieces from announcement to release. There's life-size Baby Groot, and yes, some of the Volume 2 pieces do come with a Baby Groot, which I think is kind of fun. There's the Yondu one. And that brings us to the Big Beast of Groot from Volume 1. It's a 2-pack with Rocket. And there he is. And what better way to finish this cabinet than with Stan the Man, Stan Lee from Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2. Moving down here, we have Deadpool, Venompool, and Cable from Toys Era, also known as the Mechanical. And I've said it before, this Deadpool is actually the first hot toy I ever received and purchased from Rick's Comic City, so thank you, Rick. Moving on to this shelf is with possibly one of the favorite figures in the entire collection, this being Venom. Got this in from Pop Collectibles, unbelievable figure with tremendous shelf presence. Paired him up with the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and as quirky as it is, here's Venomized Groot, which I think leads to a nice little aesthetic. Not bad at all. Coming down here, let's start off with some Iron Man. And here is the Iron Man Mark 1. This is the second version, Volume 2.0, I think. It's the plastic version. We have the Mark 47 from Spider-Man Homecoming, and the Mark 2. And that one is die-cast as well. And there is the special edition hologram. So that's looking pretty good. Moving down here, we have some more Iron Men with a contender for best Iron Man suit, that being the Mark V. That is the Mark V head sculpt on a custom Tony racing suit. Missing a couple pieces there on the name, but there's the Mark IV. And that is the first die-cast figure I ever got as well from Rick's Comic City. But until we get the suit-up version officially from Hot Toys, this will do. Moving down here, we have Thanos from Infinity War, another contender for best head sculpt ever. And this right here is the Omniscient, or Heimdall, from Toys Origin, I think it is. So they look pretty good. Very cool. Moving over to here, we have the Odin family. And as you can see, we have Hela. Amazing head sculpt of Cate Blanchett. We have Infinity War Thor, wielding both Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. as well as Ragnarok Loki with the Tesseract and the Skull of Surtur. Not a bad shelf. Down here we have Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch. This is the Age of Ultron exclusive edition. She wore that outfit at the end of the show. We got Vision. And then the other Maximoff, Pietro, Quicksilver. Nice little family. Moving down here, we have everyone's favorite pirate, the DX-15, Jack Sparrow from Dead Men Tell No Tales, as well as Johnny Depp reprising his role as Tonto from The Lone Ranger. Got a great deal on that at ICCC. So had to add that to the shelf. And here is not Hot Toys, it's XD Toys, and he's called Captain of Octopus. I know some people aren't exactly a big fan of knockoffs, but that's a good one. And I didn't want to pay $800 for it, so nice little pirate shelf. Now, this shelf's a little crowded, but we have Jamie Foxx's Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2. He could be making an appearance in No Way Home, which would be cool. There's $20.99. We have Gwenom, or Spider-Gwen. I think the official title is Queen of the Dark Spider from War Story. Pretty cool figure. We have the Symbiote Shifting, that's a tongue twister, also known as the Parasitic from Toys Era, or Toys Origin. And then Hot Toys, Spider-Man, the Scarlet Spider. So, probably my favorite Spider-Man that I have. A little bit of a crowded shelf, but nonetheless, not bad. Keeping with the Spidey theme, let's head over here to another contender for Figure of the Year. That is Mysterio. This thing is incredible. The tooling, the tailoring. There is homemade Spider-Man suit, which he is the most posable because you don't have to worry about any seams or rubber. And then Night Monkey with the Tom Holland head sculpt from the upgraded suit from Far From Home. So not a bad shelf again. Moving down to the upgraded suit. And this looks really good next to some of these Raimi figures. One of the best Toys Era figure ever. That being the Fiend with this incredible glider. Love this thing. Not bad for a third party. And pair that up with Dr. Otto Octavius, the Ock. And can't wait to see how he turns out in No Way Home. So I wanted to make sure to grab those because the hype is going to be real and that shelf looks awesome. Moving down here, we have another Iron Man, that being the Iron Man Mark 7. And he's got his battle damage pieces on from Avengers. We have the first die-cast Iron Man ever, that being Iron Patriot, if you didn't know. Pepper Potts from Iron Man 3. As well as Trevor, a.k.a. the Mandarin, from Iron Man 3. Say what you want about the figure, or character rather, but the head sculpt is incredible. Pretty awesome. And that movie and Iron Man 2 is kind of growing on me over time. Down here we have the White Wolf, Bucky Barnes from Infinity War. Love that head sculpt. We have Steve Rogers from Infinity War. As well as Teenage Groot. And he looks pretty awesome. As well as his little buddy, Rocket Raccoon from Infinity War. Nice 2-pack. Not bad at all. Moving over here to a villain shelf, if you want to call it that. We have, starting with Ultron Prime, to put some of our big villains in. Now this is not a die-cast figure, it is plastic. Probably too big to be able to put on a flight stand. I'm okay with it. Here we have Red Skull from the first Avenger. He did come with a black leather jacket, looked really awesome, but it started to flake, so I went ahead and took that off and put that away. Here we have Endgame Thanos, and he is rocking the Stark Gauntlet with the snapping hand from Professor Hulk, which I will show you in just a minute. But not a bad oversized villain shelf. There's the Mark 1 that came with, I believe, the Mark 43. Not bad. Here we have Thor from Ragnarok. That's Road 1 Thor. Love that figure. Probably one of the best Hemsworth head sculpts. We have Barber Stan Lee and Doctor Strange from Infinity War. And love that sculpt as well. So fantastic. Moving on down here, we have my only Black Widow figure, Natasha. And here we have Clinton Barton as Hawkeye from Endgame. And then we have Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes in, I believe, the Mark VI from Endgame. But he looks awesome as well. People hate on this suit. Not for sure why. But that whole shelf looks pretty darn good. Moving over here to the corner, got some more Spideys from the video game. Let me try to get in here and not break anything and not knock anything over. But here we have the Iron Spider from the Spider-Man game, as well as the Anti-Ox suit. With that deluxe base, looks incredible. Not bad. Pretty impressive. Moving down here, we have some figures from the Winter Soldier. Got Steve Rogers in the stealth suit, as well as his Peggy locket. And that is the head sculpt from Endgame. Show you how far they've come. That's the original head sculpt that came with the civilian outfit for Steve Rogers, as well as Winter Soldiers. You can see the quality just continues to improve, which I love. Now we have Maria Hill and Falcon from Civil War. I do not have the... Actually, this is the Winter Soldier one. I don't have the Civil War one. But here we have Age of Ultron, Captain America with that metal shield. Love that. Fits right on his wrist. It looks awesome. Moving down here, we have the original Hulk from Avengers. Massive, massive figure. As well as Captain America. And this has the Age of Ultron head sculpt, unmasked head sculpt, because the other one kind of sucks. And I think I've told you that before. Here's Nick Fury. And that looks really, really good too. So not a bad shelf. Moving over here, as we continue to have Marvel. Here are some of the heavy hitters. Let's take a look at these. We have Endgame Captain America. I know a lot of people are still waiting on this figure. So he's wielding Mjolnir. Endgame Thor with the proper size Stormbreaker, which looks awesome. Got Professor Hulk back there. Love the glasses. Love the head sculpt. Love the size. I think it's a pretty damn good head sculpt. And he does come with this alternate Infinity, or rather Stark gauntlet that would fit on his hand as well. Moving down here to the rescue armor with Pepper Potts. I love that head sculpt. And just got this in recently, one of my latest pieces, and that is Iron Patriot from Endgame. This is a mammoth of a figure, and man, he's cool. And of course, the show stealer is the Mark 85. Now, this head sculpt is the replacement head sculpt that you get instead of the Tony Stank one, which people weren't happy about. But overall, it just looks great. I probably will not be getting the battle damage version of this figure because I kind of like the clean looks. And that shelf looks pretty fire, if you ask me. Moving down here to some Black Panther figures, we have Eric Killmonger. Love that Panther sculpt. We'd have T'Chaka. Love the ceremonial robes. Love the colors. As well as this golden helmet. I got this off eBay, and not for sure what the purpose of it is, but it looks cool sitting there. But yeah. And of course, the Civil War Black Panther, T'Challa, which I think is the superior suit and the superior build. And between those suits, these are the same suit, different colors, just different head sculpts, but solid figures nonetheless. Now, moving down here, we have the Mark 47 head sculpt on a custom body with the Combat Nanosuit. And it's from Infinity War, and it pairs so well with this Nanotech Mark 50. Love the colors here. Looks fantastic. So a little Tony Stark shelf. And moving into the final Marvel shelf, and then one more Marvel figure. Here we have some more Tony Stark, more Iron Man, but this is without a doubt, the definitive Iron Man figure available, and that is the Mark 46 from Civil War. Look at that dynamic base and a really cool broken helmet that actually came with this team suit, Tony. Overall, I think it looks pretty good. But yeah, the Mark 46 is the best head sculpt, the best battle damage, and the best suit you can get. And he looks incredible. Moving down here, we have some more show stealers with Gladiator Thor, as well as Gladiator Hulk from Thor Ragnarok. I did not put the helmet on, mainly because I want to be able to see the face a little bit better, but that's a shelf presence if I've ever seen one. They look awesome. And another oversized shelf leads to the biggest figure in my collection, and as you saw there, those are the brackets I use to move shelves up and down to make my jumbo shelves. But let's look at it. Here's the Hulkbuster, the biggest piece in my collection, and there is the Mark 43 to go with it. It does come with this little bust inside there, but that's the actual figure, fully die-cast. So not bad. And then the final piece from Marvel is Ironmonger with that Jeff Bridges head sculpt, and he's huge. He just doesn't fit in a Detolf, and we'll have to figure that out at a later date. But look at that Obadiah Stane. What an amazing villain. And this thing is so cool. One beast of a machine. Awesome. So that is the Marvel wall of figures. We'll talk about the rest in just a second, but let's have a quick break, shall we? Wanted to press pause after all that Marvel goodness to catch our breath and say thank you to Pop Collectibles. A lot of these figures I end up getting from them day one from Hong Kong because, frankly, I got tired of waiting on the other distributors to get them to me. They are reliable, they make sure to get them from Hong Kong to your front door, and if you are considering that, make sure to check them out. Their link is in the description below. They have never let me down and always have come through, so check out Pop Collectibles for your day one needs. No, that's not a commercial, I just really like them and they've always helped me out, so check them out. Now moving on to the Batman display. At one point I did say this was my DC cabinet, but I've moved on to just collecting Batman, and I've let the Justice League figures kind of go. But as you can see here, we have the DX14, the Mime Joker, which another contender for best head sculpt, and then the best head sculpt, in my opinion, the Jack Nicholson Joker from Batman 1989. And I believe that's the DX08, as well as the DX09, this Michael Keaton Batman from Batman 89. And all three of those look really, really good, don't they? Moving down here, we have the Dark Knight, and that is the DX12 from The Dark Knight Rises. We have Harvey Dent from Two-Face. We have Bane from The Dark Knight Rises, as well as Lieutenant Gordon, Commissioner Gordon, in his SWAT outfit from The Dark Knight. And here we have the DX11, Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker. So iconic, so incredible. And this is one of my favorite shelves. Not bad, right? I would like to get Catwoman eventually. Maybe an Alfred, but it looks pretty good so far. Moving down to the video game Batman shelf, Batman Arkham Knight, and at one point I did have this figure as Arkham Knight, but I switched out to Red Hood, as you can see. There is Batman Beyond, another contender for Best Figure of the Year. It's big, it's massive, and it's extremely opposable, believe it or not, and not a bad portrait. There is Red Hood, and down here is Deathstroke. Pretty cool. I did have a custom third-party head, but I opted for the mask because I think it looks better overall. Moving down here, we have Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. This is a kit bash from a couple different pieces. I'm going to be honest, I'm not for sure which pieces are what, but I do like that custom base. We have Nightmare Batman from Batman vs. Superman. Pretty cool base. And then, just recently, one of my favorite pieces is one of the best female head sculpts ever, that being Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad. And this is the special edition, And as you can see, this isn't actually a custom tongue that you can put in there that fills her mouth a little bit better than the little one that sits in her mouth. And I really like that. And she looks awesome. Not sure if we're going to get the Suicide Squad version, but I would love to have that. But until then, I'll be happy for those. So not bad for the Batman pieces, right? Moving over to the rest of the entertainment section, if you will. And here are some of my favorite pieces, without a doubt, in the entire collection. I have not been shy about that. Hands down, those being the Blitzway Ghostbusters. Now, this is the most expensive pieces I've ever paid all up front for. But look at it. They're the Ghostbusters. It's well worth it. Look at those sculpts. Got that special edition Slimer and sign. But not much more to say. It's the freaking Ghostbusters. How cool are those? Now, here we have some Michael Jackson pieces from Hot Toys. Say what you want about Michael Jackson, but he is without a doubt one of the most iconic and famous entertainers of all time. Here's the DX03 from Bad. He looks incredible. You have the Thriller version, the 2-pack, as you can see. And we're going to come back to this figure in just a second, but here is the Beat It version, which looks really good. And here is a third-party version of Smooth Criminal. I think it is Famous Figures, if I recall, but looks pretty good. But now let's talk about this Billie Jean figure. This here is one of the actual Hot Toys grails that have ever produced. And I've told you before, this was released back in 2009 in Hong Kong, right when he died, and they are nearly unobtainable. And I just got him just a couple weeks ago. Dave from the Toy Isle podcast talked me into it, and it was available stateside. And I will say, this is, next to the Hulkbuster, my most expensive single figure. And that is the Michael Jackson, his story, Billie Jean figure. It's incredible. And as you just saw, here is Marty McFly from Back to the Future 2, as well as Dr. Emmett Brown. Not a big fan of this head sculpt, not at all, but it's Doc and Marty. Comes with the hoverboard, his Pepsi, his Nike Air Trainers, as well as a pile of cash. Down here, speaking of piles of cash, we have our Breaking Bad selections. These are from 3-0, I believe. But we got Jesse Pinkman, Saul Goodman, as well as Walter White Heisenberg himself. These are Mezco bobbleheads. I think they went to go along with it. And they fell off the shelf pretty nice. So those are my entertainment pieces in this DTOF. But let's move over to a little more from the entertainment side before we get into Star Wars. And that are my Game of Thrones figures. Let's open this up here. These are all from 3-0. And I actually used my Sideshow reward points to get the Night King on a whim. And I fell in love with it. It is absolutely incredible. And I fell in love with the line. Here we have Bran Stark, Bran the Broken, with a really cool chair. The tailoring on all these characters are really, really good. Stupid good. Head sculpts are a little bit suspect on some of them, but they're getting better, as you can see. Tormund looks awesome. Look at that nice furry axe. Everything you want. There's a White Walker. Very, very cool pieces. So, very nice looking shelf. Down here are the Lannisters with Arya. Just got this recently from Replay Toys. Not the biggest fan of her, but very darn good figure and very good tailoring as well, as I said. But here's Cersei. Here's her brother Jaime. And their little brother Tyrion. The Hand of the Queen, Tyrion Lannister. Nice little Lannister shelf. Moving down here, we have the exclusive limited edition Daenerys Targaryen from Season 5. And they're doing the half sculpted hair, half rooted hair, and I kind of like that. And I like it a lot better because, as you can see, it's kind of hard to maintain. I'm not a stylist. So we have Dany, and Jon Snow. And then down here, we have Ice awaiting The body of Eddard Ned Stark. It's actually supposed to be here tomorrow, but y'all have waited long enough for this video. And Eddard Ned will be here, and I'll be able to give him his sword. So let's press pause again for a quick breather, and then we'll get into Star Wars. Now, before we get into Star Wars, we hope you've enjoyed it and have made it this far. I wanted to say thank you also to some of my local toy shops. They always fuel my addiction and always help out, that being Icy Toys Nashville, that being the Totally Rad Toy House, and that being Replay Toys and Rick's Comic City. They've been in some of my other videos and you've been able to check them out before, but if you're ever in the area or if you just want to check them out, please go there and support your local small businesses. They have been beautiful in being able to get me some of the things that I needed. So thank you once again to those shops. And without further ado, let's get to Star Wars. Last but certainly not least, we head towards the Star Wars displays. Starting off here on Indoor with Deluxe Luke Skywalker. This is actually the body from the original Return of the Jedi. I swapped it out, and I'll show that to you in just a minute for a Mando version. But here is Indoor Leia, as well as Wicket. And I was a little skeptical at first when he came, but he turned out pretty good. He looks awesome. Now, here is a controversial shelf, to say the least. We have Count Dooku, which is one of the best head sculpts out there again. But here is General Grievous and Jango Fett from Sideshow. Now, this here aren't the most that you can say, but if you can pose them the right way, this is the exclusive original version of General Grievous, and I posed him the best I could to make him look decent. But this Jango has held up pretty well, not bad for an older figure. He poses nice, he's not bad. Moving down here, we have the DX-17, Darth Maul, the Phantom Menace. And let me fix his head here. But that's an incredible sculpt as well. And here is Qui-Gon Jinn. So Episode 1 shelf from the Phantom Menace. Moving down here, we have Sideshow C-3PO, which is amazing that Hot Toys has not made a C-3PO yet. But this is the Force Awakened R2-D2. And this is the DX-7 Luke Skywalker Bespin. Now this head has been modified. This is the original Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker head that I modified to put on there. And the one from the DX, the clean one, not the most pleasing visually. Here's Yoda from Empire Strikes Back. That exclusive creepy head. It is spooky season after all, so. But overall, not a bad little Dagobah display. Moving over to one of my favorite shelves with some amazing pieces, that being the Rogue One figures. Here we have Deluxe Jyn Erso. Felicity Jones looks incredible. Deluxe Chirrut Imwe with that deluxe dynamic base. Or diorama base, looks awesome. Love those. Here we have K2SO. And that is a power pack shelf of awesome Rogue One figures. But we're not done there. Here is Ben Mendelsohn as Director Krennic. He looks incredible. Flanked by two Death Troopers. This one here is the Mandalorian version. And this here is the Deluxe Specialist from Rogue One with that elusive little doll, which is quite pricey if you're looking for just the doll. I do like that diorama base as well. But these look awesome. More Rogue One goodness with Imperial Disguise, Rogue One Jyn Erso, as well as the original Shore Trooper, still pricey on the secondary market, but awesome, as well as the Patrol Trooper from Solo. I like that shelf too. Moving down here is a bust from Gentle Giant of Beskar Mando, as well as the Incentor Trooper on the original Mando base, and a Remnant Stormtrooper. Nothing real special about this shelf, just some Stormtroopers. But moving up to some iconic 2-packs, that being Grand Moff Tarkin and Darth Vader. And this Darth Vader, in my opinion, is the best Vader available. And there's Peter Cushing as Grand Moff Tarkin, flanked by just a normal grunt Stormtrooper. And there's the little droid in the back. Real nice piece. Very cool shelf. Love this shelf. Moving down here, we have Deluxe Emperor Palpatine on the throne, as well as a Royal Guard. And then another bust from Gentle Giant and Diamond Select. That is Grand Admiral Thrawn, which I think looks pretty good. Not bad Imperial shelf. Moving down here, we have some clones finally. That is the Coruscant Guard, as well as the DX-18 Darth Maul from Solo. And I've told you, this really grew on me. I love these mechanical legs. It looks incredible. I love this alternate head sculpt. It's menacing. It's well painted. And I'm excited to see what the Clone Wars version will look like once they release that. Down here we have the original Mandalorian, that being Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett, as well as the vintage colored TV show Boba Fett. Got a good deal on this from a local seller, but he is rather pricey on the secondary market, but thank you for good Facebook groups. Moving over here to some more Mandalorians. We have the Durasteel Mandalorian. And in my personal opinion, I like this look better than the actual Beskar version. And we'll talk about that in a second, but this is the better look to me. Here is the IG-11. Awesome tooling on that. There's the child, as well as Heavy Mando. If you missed out on this figure, I am sorry, because that's an incredible piece. Very, very nice setup. Moving down here, we have the Armorer, Sideshow, or rather, Toy Fair exclusive. There's a Beskar Mando with some custom thigh plates, as well as Luke Skywalker. Now, this is the deluxe body, as well as the original head from Return of the Jedi with the windswept hair from the deluxe. Now, when I got this, it came with this black Jedi robe. Got that from Toy Department, so wanted to recreate that scene from The Mandalorian, and there is the child peeking out. Gotta love Grogu. Moving down here to some more clones. Commander Cody, as well as some Phase 1 clones. And yes, don't waste your time in the comments saying that he doesn't have a Phase 1 helmet and it doesn't make sense. I already know. It's just for display purposes, people. Just waiting on Rex whenever he wants to debut. Down here we have one of my favorite Leias, Princess Leia from The Empire Strikes Back, her Hoth outfit. Really like this one. This is a Black Series probe droid, but it scales pretty well. As well as the 2-pack of the Snowtroopers, which are rather elusive. Once again, shout out to Pop Collectibles for helping me run them down. Moving over here, we have one of the most expensive figures on the secondary market in the Star Wars world, and my favorite figure is Darkside Anakin Skywalker. I got this below retail on eBay when no one really wanted him. But look at this incredible base. There's Deadpool, as well as General Kenobi, Obi-Wan Kenobi from Revenge of the Sith, as well as a 501st Trooper. And it goes well with Darkside Anakin, ready to storm the Jedi Temple. Here is the other head sculpt from the battle damage version of the DX-07, and I think it looks better overall. Really menacing with the bloody shoulder. Looks cool. Looks cool. Here is Bespin Leia. Got the Skywalker twins. He is missing his arm. There's his hand. Not bad, right? And the menacing Darth Vader from The Empire Strikes Back with an incredible diorama display base. Down here, we have the dynamic duo of Han and Chewie. Love that Harrison head sculpt. Just love these figures overall. Chewie looks awesome. Some of them look real bad, but mine looks real good. I was able to get the hair to lay just right, and you can see how big he is. And there's Princess Leia from A New Hope. What an iconic trio. Continuing the New Hope theme, we have old Ben Kenobi. Another incredible head sculpt. Give him that rifle from that special edition Luke. And he can wield the lightsaber as he messes with that training droid. Not the best head sculpt, but still. An iconic look from an iconic film. And he on top of that blast shield. And then finally, Our last Detolf figures to show are Clone Wars, or rather, I guess, Revenge of the Sith Anakin Skywalker, as well as Ahsoka's Troopers, the 332nd, and of course Yoda from Attack of the Clones, rounding out the Jedi. Now that's it for the actual Detolfs, but let's take a look here at our last few pieces of Star Wars and the last few pieces of the collection. But we have the Child from Sideshow, and in my opinion, this is better than the Hot Toys articulated version. Here is Sideshow Jabba the Hutt, Deluxe with Throne. Grab this from Replay Toys, and how cool is this piece? There's Salacious Crumb, very, very cool. Very eye-catching once you walk in the room. And here are our Mandalorian Scouts. A nice little backpack. Another version of the Child. And there is the speeder bike. And I think these Scouts are better than the Return of the Jedi ones because I like the weathering. I really do. And they look pretty darn good together. So that's it. There's the collection. Let me give you my final thoughts next. Well, that's going to do it for us. We made it. We made it all the way through 192 figures, I think is what it officially came down to. Thank you so much if you made it this far in our journey and that you've been with us this far. If you've not done so already, make sure to give me a like because that's really good at this point. And go ahead and subscribe if you've not done so already. I appreciate it if you've watched it this far. Make sure to be subscribed for our next video coming up. It'll be a lot shorter than this, I promise, but hopefully you've enjoyed this. Let me know down in the comments if you have a figure that you think would fit great in here that I'm missing. Please let me know what you think, and we will see you in our next video.